we're going to talk about this chart. This is a wonderful thing to study if you like it. Again, I'm just giving you multiple things that you could look at. Some people prefer charts. Some people prefer what your homework's going to look like. But either way, what does the word concurrent mean? You'll raise your hand. What does the word concurrent mean? You can look at your notes and then tell me what it is. It is from 6.2. Actually, I think we reviewed it in 6.3 as well. But what does concurrent mean? If you don't know and you're not looking it up, I would at least write down the word concurrent because you're all going to write it down. Concurrent. It is on the first page. Thank you. So it's when 3 or more lines is the first one on the board. To shorten it, we're going to do 3 plus lines that intersect. Concurrent means 3 or more lines that intersect. It's a plus sign. I would put it, no, not in a box, outside of the, we're not there yet. A point of concurrency is where the lines intersect. The lines intersect. Sorry, I wrote off the screen. So concurrent is where 3 or more lines intersect. The point of concurrency is where those lines intersect. So we learned about different types of lines. The first one is in this picture. We've got a line that is perpendicular to the side of the triangle at the midpoint. So can someone tell me what we call this line that is perpendicular to the side of the triangle at its midpoint? Reagan?
Perpendicular bisector.
It is called a perpendicular bisector. So that's what goes in the first box. So if you don't know what a perpendicular bisector, it is just a segment that is perpendicular at a midpoint. So perpendicular bisector. Where all of the perpendicular bisectors intersect. The point of concurrency, Josh, is a circumcenter. So point of concurrency literally just means where all of them intersect. So where perpendicular bisectors intersect is called a circumcenter. And then there is a property. What is the property?
It's equidistant to all angles.
It's equidistant to the angles. I would also take out a highlighter because we're going to highlight that in our picture. I'd have out 2 highlighters today. We're on the chart still. So circumcenter is equidistant from the center to the angle vertices. And then I would just take your highlighter and highlight it in this lovely picture. From the center to the angle, center to the angle, center to the angle is congruent. That's what's marked. This next triangle shows a line. And then what do these 2 lines mean at the angle? Michael? Michael. The angles are congruent. So, what do we call that line? What is that line? Oof. You all have answered before.
I have a hand up first.
Yes,
Oh, Desiree.
yes.
It is an angle bisector. I only picked her because I couldn't pick anybody else. Desiree. Not in a mean way. I didn't know who to pick. I picked you. Angle bisector. It cuts an angle into 2 congruent adjacent angles. It is called an incenter. The point of concurrency is called an incenter. And it is, Chelsea? Equidistant to the sides. So if you got a highlighter, you can highlight from the center to the side, center to the side, center to the side. This next one goes from an angle to the opposite midpoint. Goes from an angle to the opposite midpoint. What you got?
Median.
It is called a median. Was that Reagan? You're too much. Goes from an angle to the opposite midpoint and the point of concurrency. Desiree? It is a centroid. Reagan, I don't want to hear you hit the table one more time. You were still looking. You could tell me the property. Do you know the property? Do you? Okay, so the thing that people remember, what you need to remember, is the number 2/3. And then after that, you can use your eyes. So this is a median. Does everyone see it? So what you want to ask yourself, which of these segments, I've outlined both, which of these looks like it is 2/3 of the line? So it looks like RD or RB. RB. So from the center to the angle is 2/3. So 2/3 from the center to the angle. You do need to know the property for the quiz tomorrow. But otherwise, you can just use your brain. You know one of them is 1/3 and one of them is 2/3. The longer one is going to be 2/3. All right, the last, it's perpendicular to the opposite angle, and it is called, Ashton? An altitude. All it is a perpendicular line to the opposite angle, okay? And it forms, Desiree, an orthocenter. And there's no property. Nothing special. So here is what you're going to also need to know for your quiz. It's going to ask you where these centers are located. At the bottom of the homework tonight, there's like a chart. You could learn it or remember it this way. Or I'm going to show you on here. I'm going to write it in the point of concurrency column. Where is the in-center located? The in-center is inside the triangle. Thank you, Reagan. I'm working on it. So I want you to write that these two are always inside the triangle. Always inside the triangle. Always inside. Always inside. Whereas the other two will change based on what kind of triangle it is. So they actually will match. I'm going to write A for acute. If you have room and you want to write acute, I would. But A stands for acute. In an acute triangle, the circumcenter will always be inside of the triangle. Inside. The same thing with an orthocenter. They're going to match. They're just going to be the same. So inside. In a right triangle, it is on the side. In, on, out. Because obtuse is going to be outside the triangle. So keep in mind that is for a circumcenter and for an orthocenter. Okay. So an easy way to remember it, I mean, in-center and centroid are short words and they go together. The longer words go together, orthocenter, circumcenter. But if you don't like that, then, you know, figure out your own way. That's that. We go to the 6.4 notes. We are going to fill in the top chart, which literally is filling in what we just talked about. We're going to do it in a random order, though. Points of concurrency. Who can name the point of concurrency and what it is formed by? Can you raise your hand for this one?
It doesn't matter which one.
Nope. Go for it. Don't read, talk.
Okay. Circumcenter.
A circumcenter is formed by? Josh. Perpendicular perpendicular bisectors. So a circumcenter is formed by perpendicular bisectors. So in the first blank, the circumcenter is the point of concurrency, and it is formed by perpendicular bisectors. So first column, point of concurrency is the circumcenter, and it is formed by perpendicular bisectors. Can someone name another center and what it is formed by? Michael. The incenter is formed by angle bisectors. Reagan.
Centroid.
A centroid is formed by medians. Josh, the last one. An orthocenter is formed by altitude. So we're on the 6.4 notes. We've just filled in the entire top chart. Circumcenter is formed by perpendicular bisectors. We said the incenter is formed by angle bisectors. Did we go median next?
Central. Median.
The centroid is formed by medians, and then altitudes form. An orthocenter is formed by altitudes. Oof. Now we're going to talk about midsegment. As long as you are capable of halving and doubling, you will be fine in this section. That's all we're doing. Half and double. You ready? Okay. So, a midsegment is in the middle of your front page. A midsegment of a triangle is a segment that connects the midpoints of two sides of the triangle. So, a midsegment of a triangle is a segment that connects the midpoints of two sides of the triangle. So, you already have the midpoints drawn, but you're going to make sure they're noted as a midpoint, meaning you need the little lines. This shows that point A is in the middle. So you're going to do it on this side and also on this side. These two lines show that B is in the middle, and the same thing with the third side. So you're marking all those little tally marks. Here's all a midsegment does. It connects the midpoints of two sides of the triangle. So some people wing it, some people use like their ID badge, but you're going to connect the dots from one midpoint to the other midpoint. So a midsegment of a triangle is a segment that connects the midpoints of two sides of the triangle. Same thing here, BC, and then CA. There is a half and double relationship between parallel sides. So what side is parallel to DE, segment DE in my picture here? Everyone can answer. Just everyone. Segment AB. So DE is parallel to segment AB. Go ahead and fill that in. Segment DE is parallel to segment AB. So here's what we know. Remember how we said it's either double or half? Segment DE is going to be half the length of AB. The length of DE is half the length of AB. So the two parallel lines will be half or double. Okay, so give me a number, any number. 4 is easier because it's an even number. Okay, if the length of AB is 4, what's the length of DE? 2. Because half of 2, or half of 4 is 2. Okay, what if DE was 4? What would the length of AB be? It would be 8. So that's the math today. You ready? Go ahead and flip. In exercises 1 through 3, DE is the midsegment. We're going to take our highlighter and highlight DE. And the side it is parallel to. So what is DE parallel to? BC. I'm just going to go ahead and do it with all of them while I have the highlighter out. DE is still parallel to BC, DE, and BC. All because DE is a midsegment. I know these two are parallel to each other, so I know there's going to be a half and double relationship. So I know the length of BC is 28. To find the length of DE, is it the half line or the double line? It's the half line. So what is half of 28? Thank you. So the length of DE is 14. Number 2, we want to find X. The length of DE is 15. X, is it my half line or my double line? It is double. Sorry, I guess I should have put X. It is. Double of 15 is 30. Since I'm asking easy questions, these are half and double, we could do this. This next one, however, can anybody tell me what X will be? Reagan?
9.
How'd you know it was 9?
Because DE is parallel to AE. Oh wait, no. DE is equal to AE.
Oh, DE is, no?
DE is parallel to EC.
Okay, so why do you think it's 9? It's the mid-segment, so what does that mean to me? It connects both midpoints. So she gave the right reason. It is 9. It is 9. However, it's 9 because DE is a mid-segment. That means D and E are midpoints, which means this segment and this segment are equal. So it is 9.
I was right.
You were right, but for the wrong reason. That happened a lot on your... Oh, also, on Edpuzzle, is this an angle bisector or perpendicular bisector? Yes. A lot of you in this class did not read the question. I literally wrote yes.
I didn't.
I asked you if you liked Coke or Pepsi, and you said yes. I'm asking which one. Is this? No. Anyways. Y'all kill me. Anyways. We're going to move on to the next one. Triangles are used for strength in roof trusses. Amen. What a blessing. In the diagram, segment UV and segment VW are mid-segments. So we're going to highlight them. Take one color. We're going to highlight UV because there's just a lot going on. What is UV parallel to? RT. So I'm going to highlight that as well. Then we're going to take our second color. We know VW is also a mid-segment. What is VW parallel to? RS. Okay, so it says find the length of UV and find the length of RS. So UV was what I highlighted in green, and it corresponds with RT. So what am I going to do here to find UV? Divide by 2. What's 9 divided by 2? 45. Yes, because 40 and 40 make 80, and 5 and 5 make 10. Oh. All right, and then RS is parallel to VW. So what am I going to do to find the length of RS? Multiply 57 by 2, which is... It's okay, 114. We had a very long break. It is fine. No judgment zone here. All right, we've got 3 more. We're going to find the perimeter. I'm going to show you both ways to do this. One of them is longer. However, if you don't remember in the middle of a test, it's the easier one to remember. What is the perimeter of DF? Here's what I know. D is the midpoint of this side length. How do I know that? Yeah. A, D, and BD is congruent. Little tick marks, right? Same thing here. E is the midpoint because of the tick marks. And then F is the midpoint as well. So that means we've got 3 mid-segments. Okay? So here's what you can do. I could find the length of DE, because let's back up, I guess. We want to find the perimeter of DEF. So triangle DEF. I highlighted it poorly, but we want to find the perimeter of this triangle. How do you find the perimeter of any shape, Reagan? You add all the sides. So we want to find the length of all the sides so that we can add all of the sides. Are we okay with that? So we're going to find DE first. What is DE parallel with?
DEF. BC. Oh.
Parallel means they don't intersect.
Wow. I'm saying correct.
So, DE is a midsegment that is parallel to BC. So, I'm going to divide by 2 to find its length. What is 45 divided by 2? 22 and a half. 22 and a half. Okay, so that's one side length. We're going to find another. I'm going to find this one. What is FE parallel to? AB. So I know the length of AB is 13. To find the length of FE, I'm going to divide it by 2. 6.5. All right, and then last, I know that DF is parallel to AC. So that makes it 19. So then, to find the perimeter of my inner triangle, what do? Add all the sides. So add 22.5 plus 6.5 plus 19. And we get 48. And we're going to write units. Normally it would say like inches or something, but I'll give a point to someone who knows option 2. Reagan?
Add all the sides of the outside triangle up and divide it by 2.
Perfect, yeah. So you can, give me a second to add the point. You could add 13 and 38 and 45, which makes 96, and then divide it by 2, and you get 48 units. Both are acceptable. It's just that some people don't remember that in the middle of a test. Both are fine. We good? Okay. The next question, we got 2 more, and then we use our whiteboards. In the diagram, segment DE is a midsegment of triangle ABC. So I'm going to stop there and find the length of DE. So DE is the midsegment in triangle ABC. What is DE parallel to? BC. So is DE the half or the double? It is half. Half of 52 is?
21. Oh, whoa, 36.
26. Or I said there was no judgment, but. All right, so then in the second it says FG is a midsegment of ADE. So now we're just looking at the top triangle here. Okay, it is a midsegment of ADE. It is parallel to DE. So then what are we going to do to find FG? Divide 26 by 2, which is? 13. So length of FG is 13. And then one more. I don't really qualify this as a word problem because they gave you a picture, but maybe a little bit. We got a walking path, BD, in a park, intersects the sides of the park at their midpoints. So we're actually going to mark that B and D are the midpoints. How will I mark that B is the midpoint? The tick marks. And the same thing with D. Make sure they have different amount of tick marks. So AB and CB should have the same amount of tick marks. ED and CD should have the same amount of tick marks. So it says you walk from park corner A. So we're starting at A. We're walking to the path at BD. So we walk over to the path. We walk over the path to the other side of the park. So over the path to the other side of the park. Then we walk up to corner E and then back down to your starting point. How many yards do you walk? So how would I figure out how many yards I walked? Add up all those sides, right? So that's what we're going to do. What is the length from A to B? 90, because this was the midpoint. Good. A, B, and B, C are the same. So 90. And then I walk across the path, which is 68. Then I walk up to corner E. How will I find from D to E? Divide by 2, and that is? 108. 108. And then back down to where I started. 68 times 2. Good. Because they're parallel to each other, and BD was the midsegment. So 68 times 2 is 136. Then we add them all together. .402. And then we would say yards. which really is 1,200 feet, right? It's not even a mile. Okay, you're going to take out your whiteboard marker and the whiteboard. We're going to start with 6.4, and then we will review 6.3. So in each triangle, points M, N, and P are midpoints. Find the segment parallel to the given segment. So you're going to answer both. You need to write the whole statement. So what I have highlighted, you're going to fill in the blank with what it is parallel to. Same thing here. Correct. Did you write a line above it?
Yeah.
That's good. That's correct. Yes, sir. So you write the whole statement. It's correct. Just next time write the whole statement. Correct. Correct. Not quite. Correct. 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 Yes, ma'am. All right, virtual, what's your answer? So not quite, Trey. Not quite, Anj. So parallel means they'll never intersect. So CD is parallel to what side, y'all? PN. So you'd write PN with the line above. QS is parallel to MN. Okay, notice how they don't intersect, and they never will. Do 3 and 4. Find the missing segment length. Make sure you answer CD equals and AC equals. You can answer both if you want. That's correct. So you don't, if you're saying length of, you don't put a line above it. But I also can't read in this smudge. You're both correct. First one's incorrect. Correct. Can you put it below the smudge?
Yeah.
That's better. Correct, both of them. Yes, ma'am. And then yes, sir. Yes, yes, yes. And then Mason, yes. Good. So CD is parallel to 16. So what am I going to do to 16? Divide by 2. And then AC is parallel to TS. So what am I going to do with number 4? Multiply times 2, and that makes 8. Okay. Number 5. Correct. Yes, ma'am. And yes. And yes. And correct, Mason. Anj, I think it froze, maybe. Oh, yep, you're correct, Anj. Good. So what number do I look at to find the length of PT?
32.
32. And what do I do with number 32? Divide it by 2. Good. 32 divided by 2 is? 16. Heard a random number. All right. We scroll down. So, make sure you answer, like this one should say QS equals, and so on and so forth. Make sure you write QS equals, but yes. Not quite, Desiree. Correct. Correct. Just don't put the line above it when you're saying length of. The segment above, the line above it. Whenever you say length of, you don't put a line. Mason, you're correct. Not quite. Correct. 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 Yes, Anj, you're correct. And then Trey, you're good. Yes, ma'am. The length of CA is what?
No.
Are you on number 8?
No, number 7. Oh.
So that is that number 8? That's the length of CA, but that's not what X equals. So you're like almost there. Correct. No. Is that the second one? Yes, ma'am. That's better. Mason and Trey and Andre are all correct. So it doesn't equal that length. You just told me what the length was. You're correct. Is yes, correct. For the last one, that's correct. Both of the last two are wrong. I think you did it wrong. So I want to stop seeing y'all set these two equal. These two lengths, do they look like they equal? They do not. But they told you the length of SR is 24. So are you not equipped to find the length of CA? But you also know CA's length is 3x. So 3x will equal a number.
Oh, 8.
It does not equal 8. Just stop it.
12.
Stop saying it out loud. Oh my gosh, it does. Ding dong. Okay, so the length of CA is 12. So to find x, I know 3a equals 3x. Sorry, CA equals 3x. So 3x equals 12. So x equals 4. That's as much as I'll help you on. No, you'll do number 9. Don't say it out loud. Same process. Find out what the length of QR is, and then set that equal to 12x. I'll erase this for help. It still doesn't equal. You did the wrong direction. CB is the small line. You did the same thing. CB is the small line. And you did the same thing on number 9, Mason. CB is the small line. You're correct. Yes. Correct, Trey. Good. So QR is 12x. Ooh, I wrote that. Oops. Well, CB is 48. So then what does 12x equal? 96. You double 48, which makes 96. So x equals 8. And then I think after this we do 6.3 for a minute. So I'll do one with you, and then we'll go from there. 6.3, point P is the centroid of triangle ABC. Use the given info to find the indicated measures. So the first thing you want to ask yourself, am I given the 1/3, the 2/3, or the whole line? I'm doing the first one with you. BL, is it the 1/3, the 2/3, or the whole line? The whole line. I told you in the video, what is the easiest thing to find if you're given the whole line? The 1/3 is easier. Because what is 1/3 of 12? Is 4. So one of these lengths is 4. Is BP equal to 4 or the length of PL equal to 4? PL. So I know PL is 4. I know the full length is 12. You can do one of two things. What's one thing I can do? You can multiply 4 times 2, and that would give you 8. Or, option 2, Chelsea was saying, you can subtract. 12 minus 4 is 8. Okay, remember that 1/3 times 2 is 2/3. So when you have the 1/3, you double it to find the 2/3. What if you were given the 2/3? What do you do to find the 1/3? Divide by 2, or half it. Okay, you're going to do the second one. Let me scroll over for you. Whoop, too far. There you go. second one's super wrong. Here's the second one's wrong too. Math. Oh my gosh, how am I supposed to read that? Yeah. Did you check your mathing? And you mathed wrong too. Check your math. Almost said. Check your math tray. You're correct, Mason. That's because I'm reading the name. Correct. So most of you got CP. Is it the 1/3 or the 2/3? It is the 2/3. So if I'm given the 2/3 and it is 16, how do I find the 1/3? Divide by 2, which makes 8. The part that people are actually messing up on is adding, or you multiply times 3. Either way, I know 8 is the 1/3. So what's 8 times 3? 24. Or you could do 8 plus 16, which is 24. So people were like getting this right, but it's fine. We had a long break. All right, and then number 3. The length of AL is 27. Find the length of AP and the length of PL. Correct, Trey. Correct. How is one of your lengths bigger than the whole segment length? Like from A to L is the whole length, so why is one of your numbers bigger than that? That doesn't make any sense. Alright, so not quite. What is the easiest thing to find if we have AL, which is the whole length? We'll find the 1/3. What is 1/3 of 27? 9. So length of AP is 9. You could do 27 times 1/3. Oops. But it ends up being the same thing as 27 divided by 3, which is either way it's 9. And then how do I find... Sorry, I wrote the wrong letters. PL equals 9, and then AP equals 18. Yeah, I double it because it's the 2/3. All right, we got the length of BP is 102. Find the length of PL and the length of BL. No. Correct. Correct. Mason, you're correct. Good. Am I given the 1/3 or the 2/3? The 2/3. So how do I find the 1/3? Divide by 2, which means PL is 51. And then how do I find BL? Add them together. You're 153. Let's see if there's anything else. How about this? Is this an angle bisector or a perpendicular bisector? It is perpendicular. How do I know that it is perpendicular? It's perpendicular through a midpoint. It's perpendicular to a segment. Whereas in number 6, what kind of bisector do I have? Angle bisector, because it bisected an angle. I saw very interesting answers on those on the quiz. On this part, if you were given it, what do we know about the math property for an incenter? From where to where is congruent? From the center to the sides would be congruent. What about... I'm not going to do that one right now. Oh, no, that's it. What about a circumcenter? Center to where? Center to the angles is congruent. Good. We'll stop here for today.